Welcome to Stargate SG1 for the first time, still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the 47th time. But for the first time, I am looking for what Stargate is trying to teach us. You know, those lessons that hold up a mirror to society, give us hope that things can be better in the future, or just tell us how to be better human beings to one another.
Let's find out how the human beings are in the 9th episode of the 3rd season of SG1, Rules of Engagement. Now, last week when I predicted what this was going to be about, I figured the episode's going to open with SG1 coming through the gate back into the SGC. It'll be the return of the SGC. They will have gotten into some stuff, and they're going to get in trouble, and we're going to kind of get the almost courtroomy type of episode of what are the rules of engagement? Which is a good question. Another good question is, like, when did this episode come out? What cool facts are there about it? Why don't you lay it on us?
Yeah, there's really not any cool facts about this episode, Jeff.
Oh, great.
It's so weird. It's so weird. Here's a fact about this episode. It came out on August 20th, 1999.
Okay.
So that's it. There's no notable guest stars, no notable writer and director. Nothing I need to tell you about going into the episode. And frankly, there's really nothing much coming out on the other side of the episode other than what happens. So
All right.
with that, Jeff, why don't we jump into it, buddy?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, listen, if this is your first time here, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys are amazing. What's about to happen is Jeff and I are going to go watch this episode right now. But you're like, wait, you've already started the episode. What do you mean? Haven't you already watched it yet? No, we haven't. We're going to go watch it right now. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, you're actually going to stick around and you're going to get to see our reactions. We'll cut it up and you'll see the reactions to this episode as Jeff watches it for the first time, me looking for those messages for the first time. If you would like to get the full unedited version of this entire video, including all that stuff that we did before we actually jumped on here, head over to patreon.com/Bye Nerds. And you guys can check that out and see all those levels. Plus you get cool things like joining us on Discord, monthly hangout with Jeff and I. You can get, who knows what else we're going to have by the time all this goes on. Lots of stuff to go. But you guys definitely make sure to check that out. Patreon.com/Bye Nerds.
If you're listening on a podcasting app, you can also join us on our Patreon. It's pretty awesome. Come for the SG1, stay for the awesome community. But in the meantime, we're going to gate you into the future. You're going to join us on the other side. I'm going to share my first-time reactions to this episode. Brent will share any of those sci-fi messages that he found. So, Brent, let's kick this off. Rules of engagement.
Let's kick this pig. Hey, look. Weren't we on this planet?
Trees.
Last week. And
Trees.
The week before. And the
Trees.
week before that. And the week before that. And the week before that.
It is beautiful.
God's country.
You know, that UAV needs a swift kick in the CPU.
This aerial camera showed some sort of camp. Oh, weapons fire.
Sounds like laser weapons fire. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's like war games. It's Gould fighting Gould, or it's a... No. Oh, what?
It's an SG team, sir. Can't make out their unit number. They're pinned down.
If someone else was there, they should know that.
Fire.
It's a lot of SG teams, Jeff. They can't keep track of them all.
Like 13, aren't there?
Oh, they were declared MIA 8 months ago on P89534. What would they be doing here?
Wherever they may be, they are about to die.
So SG-11 went missing quite some time ago.
6 months
Somewhere
ago, they
else.
said, yeah. They have no idea who this SG team is. Just an SG team.
Okay, I was guessing it was 11 because they went MIA.
Cover your six! Identify yourself! Colonel Jack O'Neill, SG1! Take him out!
Is this a Daniel death, Jeff? Is it a Daniel death? I'm counting it.
This isn't everybody dead.
Yeah.
Those look like PPG shots hitting them.
Right.
They'll fizzle out.
PPGs, yeah, there you go. Go to the intro.
Best cold open you can have is killing the entire cast.
Right. They're dead. That's a Daniel death, Jeff. We're counting it.
Totally.
It's been so long since I've gotten to count a Daniel death.
So exciting. He finally died. Wow.
Of course, everybody else died too.
Yeah, and
All right, Jeff.
All right. Oh, man. They turn on SG-1 somehow. The Gould, though, that were coming just kind of weren't a factor anymore. Like they were coming in attacking with their staffs and they took dude out and then, I don't know, and then their guns have laser things on them, trying to like guess what this could be. So SG-11 went MIA.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got abducted or enlisted by some other race who is now deploying them strategically against the Goa'uld. But then they would have recognized, everybody knows Jack O'Neill.
I was going to say, I don't care how many SG teams they got. The SGC is not super huge.
No, and it's SG1.
You're gonna know each other. And if you're a member of an SG squad, we know who the SG teams are.
Yeah.
Like,
or at least the head, like, if nothing else, the squad leader. Oh, doing the Undertaker sit-up.
yeah.
Are you okay?
I thought I got shot.
So it would seem.
Or are you guys gonna get it?
Get what? From whom?
I
You
appreciate the
can't talk.
grammatically correct
Why not?
statement there.
Because you're dead. Pretending not to be dead will just get you into more trouble.
It's like a paintball thing.
More
It's like a
trouble than
training
death.
op of some kind.
Come on, Colonel, you know better. Stop breaking the rules.
We're supposed to be dead. How are you supposed to kill us again?
You want to find out Four Eyes, huh?
You can't hit a guy with
Oh,
glasses.
the old Four Eyes
Easy, big fella.
insult,
Play dead.
right?
Indeed.
Indeed. So I saw his little gun light up, so I think those are like laser tag guns almost. And this is a training op. Those weren't actually
Anyone
Goa'uld.
notice the patch?
SGX.
There is no SGX O'Neill.
Not under Hammond's command, no.
Who do you think they are?
Another
An
race
ID
is
from
copying
Mayborn?
them.
I wouldn't put it past him.
They're copying the model, maybe.
No, did you hear him?
No.
NID, Colonel Mayborn.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all. I was talking. Like an idiot.
SG-1 reporting his orders, sir.
Oh, the old power move
Casualties
of
until 1400 hours.
not looking,
Would that be daylight savings or
barely
standard?
talking.
You may not speak, except to answer a direct question by the evaluating officer.
Dude, I'm twice your age.
Is
Shut
that
up.
clear?
You should, a little bass in your voice there, son.
Is
Right?
this the way you behave in your quadrant, mister?
I think Colonel is the proper way of addressing me, Captain.
No rank is above strict adherence to the rules of engagement. Unauthorized forces shall be shot on sight. You were unauthorized. In fact, you ruined our ambush. Nearly half the enemy team got away.
Carter.
I've never been real big on rags. Is this familiar to you?
No, sir.
They are familiar to me. Jaffa.
Kalvak Jaffa.
You're not from D Quadrant.
We are not.
And you came through the Shapa Eye. This is a challenge.
The Shapa
I meant the Stargate.
Jeff, knowledge check for you.
Okay.
What is the Shapa Eye?
That's the Stargate.
Who calls it the Shapa Eye?
The Goa'uld.
Just checking.
Don't hit play yet.
Okay.
I just typed in my note. Theory, another race is copying the SG model and they're training to take on the Goa'uld. Are these Goa'uld? We have the Goa'uld, we have the Tok'ra. Is this like a new theory? It's a third group copying the SG model to fight the Goa'uld. Maybe.
Let's find out. You're a good
Sam's
guesser.
going to know. Sam's going to feel if they got to, she'll say something at some point.
Oh, yeah. She's got the Goa'uld detector.
Stargate. I am sorry, Master Jaffa. I have revealed
no.
myself and failed.
Master Jaffa, there goes that theory.
You must execute me for the remainder of the day.
Master Teal, might I suggest we spare them this time?
Oh, until
Very well.
No.
Right.
Underling.
Shoot them.
Underling.
Underling.
Your standing orders given to you by your previous Jaffa master.
Practice the exercises of battle according to the rules of engagement until the return of our Lord Apophis.
Uh-oh.
When we are ready for the final challenge, you will come.
Don't hold your breath.
We will be ready. You've studied long and hard and know much.
About Earth.
Oh yes,
They're built to infiltrate.
corn and cotton are indigenous to North America.
That information could save your life.
So you see, Master Teal, my mistake will not happen again.
I love how proud he
To
looked when he
infiltrate
said
the Tory
that.
at your command.
That time has not yet come, Captain Rogers.
If you're pretending to be, who are those Jaffa attacking you?
They were led by my second in command, Captain Nelson, as part of the daily exercise. They've kept the Jaffa encampment separate so that we may better practice our Earth behavior.
So Apophis is putting together infiltration teams. And then he died.
Well, I was going to say, he was at one point.
Yeah.
And they haven't received anybody in a while because he is.
Colonel, none of them have symbiote pouches.
It is common practice among the Goa'uld to use humans as fodder during battle, especially when facing defeat.
Hey, Teal, I want everyone in one place, just to make sure. Can you handle that?
Again.
Apophis was the god, but I was one step down from that.
Rogers.
Well, that would have, I mean, Teal'c
Where
would
the
have
weapons
ultimately
which
been
we
in charge of
arrived.
all of these.
They were returned to the armory tent, of course.
Do you possess a Voq?
Yes, sir.
Use it.
Yes, Master Teal.
This episode always gives me strong Star Wars vibes.
Yeah.
Like, this is how they talk to the Jedi.
Tell him to do.
And stuff, you know.
I instructed him to use a training instrument to assemble his men for inspection. It may serve to emphasize our authority.
That smile on Tookie's loving this.
Right? I mean, this is his element. Like, he
built this stuff.
He knows how to act, he knows how to behave, he's got everything.
He is much loved by Apophis. Address the warriors.
Apophis wanted me to tell you that you've all been doing a wonderful job. Couldn't ask for more. Well done.
That's it.
That means those kids are out there playing war games with real weapons.
Colonel?
Go ahead, Carter.
So far, all we've recovered is 1 9mm and 1 MP5.
Roger that. Keep looking.
I require all of Quadrant 8 to be assembled, including those engaged in the games. Immediately!
As Captain Nelson stated, Master
Do
Article
you wish
7.
to be punished?
I will not fail your challenge a second time, Master Teal.
This is where I don't understand this part of the episode. I don't understand Jaffa culture. I don't understand any of this. But to sit here and be like, hey, when you took us and you took our weapons, those were not INTARs. Those were real. But I don't know. And you have distributed those. You have people out there who are fighting with our real weapons, not INTARs. If they get shot, they will die.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them home now. I don't know why he can't say that.
Yeah. It's very simple. It's very simple.
Yeah. We don't use INTARs with what we do. Just tell them that.
Yeah, we're from
you
a
guys
different
have mixed them up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Bring them back.
Yeah. But like I say, I don't understand your fall culture in these things. So, who knows? Maybe they're not allowed to do that. I do like, he's like, I'm not going to fail your challenge a second time. So I'm going to not do what you just told me to do.
Right. I know that you know that he knows that I can't know that I know that he knows. And so I'll know that I'm doing this.
Right.
Apophis has been slain in battle with his enemies.
Cannot kill a god.
Hey, he's telling you the truth.
Oh, okay. He's yelling at me, so
preparing for is never going to happen.
Now we've passed your challenge.
Have
if
you,
nothing
though?
else, sirs, we are scheduled to join the games in progress.
If there's nothing else.
Company dismissed!
Yeah, I feel like Tilk shouldn't have let that thing go down. Like, outside of what you were saying, but just like letting those people talk back to him.
Does it say Colonel anywhere?
I can. Everybody grab an INTAR.
It's one way to do it.
Go play the game.
Yeah. The four of us against all y'all.
And some
that's a
of
good
you,
technical term. All y'all.
All y'all.
All y'all. You can't say it right, Jeff. Come on. All y'all.
It's a
All
stab
y'all.
weapon wound.
I have an accent.
He's dead, sir.
It's only 2 syllables, Jeff. All y'all.
All y'all. All y'all.
Come on. And enunciate. Enunciate the letters.
Prepare the men. The challenge must begin at first light.
What's he talking about? Final challenge.
It's the
It's
final
the day in a warrior's training.
challenge.
First blood is shed. The games become real.
Tilk just literally said, just got real.
Colonel, we found something. Our weapons were all turned back in after the war game, sir.
Roger that. Keep him secure.
Where's Apophis?
He
He's
dead.
not here. Sorry.
What have we got?
Liars! Traitors!
You will be punished.
You will avenge me!
His name's Rogers.
You should
Despite appearances,
sedate
he's not
him
SG.
first.
He will
Good
strike
idea.
you down! You will all die!
Tuna.
Go to Sokar.
I love the
Go
whoa.
to hell, actually. Which, by the way, is a very rude thing to say to a person offering you a sandwich.
Means the same.
I love the lighting, how the lighting is set up, particularly on Rogers right now.
Mm-hmm.
I will reveal nothing. You may begin torturing me.
Oh, I've
Almost a
already
halo
Well, if this was Star Trek back in the day,
This
it would just be the thing
is
across the
infamous
eyes.
tuna
Yeah.
torture.
with the Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah. That's a great reaction by him.
What magic is this?
No magic. I was there.
As was I.
It is true.
It is.
Yeah, he was easily convinced.
Just show him a video. It's the days before deepfakes and AI.
War's over.
No, it's not. Because tomorrow the final challenge begins. And many of my men will die. For him.
Stop it, or are you still on board?
Sir, the technical part of transferring the data to the vacuum I can figure out. But we've already been experimenting with interfacing Gould technology with our own. The problem will be getting there.
We do have the INTARs, General.
Is that news to you,
What
Jeff?
good will it?
They've been experimenting,
first and ask
integrating
questions
Gould
later.
technology with their own.
I request
I
permission.
don't
to
think
join
so,
you.
because like they were taking the power supplies from the staff weapons and trying to build
They
an
are his men,
Aquila
General.
reactor and stuff. Like they've been.
And he might
Well,
provide
Jeff
us
did that
with
when
the
they
advantage we
effed
need
with
to
his
pull
mom.
this off.
SG1, you have a goal.
I feel like this is a mission for more than just one SG team.
Uh huh.
Like actual SG team.
Also, you need Chevron guy yelling this stuff out to make this a big moment.
Chevron guy. I like that.
Captain Rogers?
Just returned through the Jaffa Eye with a message from Apophis. I have glorious news.
I like he got shot in the butt. One guy got shot in the butt and picked him up.
Whatever, get it.
We got to dub this VHS tape over to this digital storage device.
They didn't have USBs back then, Jeff. Like,
Far from it. They were using SCSIs at this point.
little S video cables.
Got it.
I've always loved the computer graphics of the 1960s. So, like, awesome for back then.
Advanced stuff.
I swear that thing looks like a Pokeball.
Warriors of Apophis, assemble before me and listen to he that possesses the vacuum. Warrior before you speaks in my name. Heed his words.
It's a message from Apophis himself!
Jeff, I want you to pause, and I want you to take yourself back in your mind's eye to the time when Apophis was still alive.
Okay.
All right?
Way back.
He's got this vacuum he's got going on here. He's going to leave it out there with his guy. But Apophis, we need you to make the recording.
Mm-hmm.
So he stands there, and they set it up, and they say, okay, go. Say what you want to say so we can record it. Warriors of Apophis, assemble before me. How long did you just need to? Oh, okay.
We get another take. That was good. This time, though, I want to get a little more emphasis on me. Can we do?
Right.
My Lord
I'd
and
like
my
to see
God.
you move your head a little faster as you scan back and forth, and we're going to need you to wait an extra 45 seconds to give people time to get here.
Yeah, my Lord and my God, that did not work for us. Let's do it.
Right.
Take 47. You're going to get it this time.
Please give yourself a buzz, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. It's...
All right, here we go.
Summoning his image during battle is against the rules of engagement. Hear his words when the challenge is over. Now, Nelson. You will listen to him now.
Or I will intar you.
Before anybody else gets hurt. The final challenge is to the death, Colonel.
A host. I am afraid.
What trickery is this?
Don't come at me with your chat GPT lies.
He is a god. It cannot be so.
He's the God that failed.
It is so.
I really want to see the video of them sending his body back through the Stargate to Sokar.
What would become of us?
Yeah, he died. It's awful. Guess what we did with him afterwards?
Where will we go now?
He went to hell.
Yeah, literally. To Sokar. And that's that.
All right, Jeff, before we go any further, first of all, I want to say welcome back to all of our audio listeners who've just gated into the future. Hello. Jeff and I have just watched this episode, Rules of Engagement, for the very first time. Jeff, this is typically where I'd say, hey, what about it? Talk to us. But I have a question for you first.
Okay.
Who did it better? Who did this episode better? Stargate SG1.
Let me stop you. Right before we came back into the future, I said, hold on a second. I need to write my tagline. Can I give you my tagline and see if we're in the same place?
Sure.
Episode 9, Season 3 of SG1, Rules of Engagement, is Lord of the Flies meets Valiant from Deep Space Nine.
Not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Okay, who did it better?
Here's mine.
All right.
You ready? Who did this episode better? Stargate SG1 or Star Trek Voyager for In the Flesh? For those of you who don't know, let me just, in Star Trek Voyager, there's an episode called In the Flesh. Spoiler alert if you've never seen it. 3, 2, 1, fast forward 20 seconds. Species 8472 completely mocks up and imitates the Starfleet Academy back on Earth, all the way down to their groundskeeper Boothby.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew finds this thing out there. So again, I ask you, Jeff, who did it better, SG1 or Star Trek Voyager?
Well, a little bit of trivia. That was Boothby's last live action appearance in Star Trek. Was 8472. That's kind of an interesting little thing.
He only had one before that, I think. He had like one episode before that, and then he had that two. It was because it was a two-parter.
Yeah, he was in his voice was in The Fight with Chakotay. No, he was in it. He was actually in The Fight.
He was in it, yeah.
He was the trainer for Chakotay. Then he was in the one episode of TNG. Not a Star Trek podcast. Back to SG1.
Still not a Star Trek podcast.
Still. I think the SG1 did it better. And
Really?
And I think SG1 did it better because they weren't fake, right? They were real people doing a real assignment with a real thing, whereas 8472 was a whole thing that was created to try as a very targeted false thing built up. The Apophis was trying to train infiltrators for this. This was a legit operation.
But that's also legitimately what 8472 was trying to do.
But they weren't
trying to train them to go invade and take over and know thy enemy, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
they did. That's actually a really good episode.
It was a great episode of Voyager. It really was.
So I want to say this. This is my cop-out way of answering the question. Very different, because I think this one, it's very Lord of the Flies. You know, this is a bunch of kids left on an island. I think he's got the conch, you know, and they argue over Section 7, Article 3, or Article 7, Section 3, as to who gets to talk when there's the conch. So you've got this whole juvenile thing going on. You have this whole blind adherence to faith thing going on. Whereas in the Flesh, singular purpose, created a false thing with the soul. Like, it was, everyone knew it was up, you know, in that thing. So I think they're too different to compare to each other, but definitely inspired. I think this one is, in the Flesh, Valiant from DS9. That's where Nog ends up on the Valiant, which is another Defiant class ship with kids, Red Squad on board, and they are basically out there following the last orders they got, even though all the Jaffa masters, actual commissioned officers were gone. It's very similar. And then, so it's just an amalgamation of those three, frankly, pretty great things. Lord of the Flies, excellent piece of literature. Valiant, great episode. It's what I named my crew of my Patreon for Starfleet Leadership Academy. They're my Red Squad, and then in the Flesh. So it's kind of good. I'm struck by a lot. This was a fun episode. It was a cool idea. I love how it brought us into the whole thing. It was as soon as I saw them come over that ridge, I was like, oh, it's a War Games thing. And then it just kind of gave you the little pieces. Spoon, baby bird fed you all the little pieces as to what was really going on.
Yeah.
Of course Apophis set something like this up, right? It's like, this makes total sense. I like how they worked in the SG-11 stuff on how they did it. What I am struck with, though, a couple things. Well, I think this was a great Jack episode, specifically. Jack is our fly-by-night, good times guy, good at his job, but also takes it very seriously by not taking it very seriously. You know, he's keeps everybody cool and on task doing things. But this time, there was a lot on the line, and he got intense. We saw Colonel O'Neill in this episode, and I thought that was a really great look at him. It was a great Tilk episode. The episode started off with him just in his element, telling people what to do, saying the language, smiling, smirking because he knew it was up. And that kind of fizzled, and it handed over to Jack from there. And I was disappointed that Tilk didn't continue in that, but also it made sense. Like it progressed the story well. We got a little view at the morality of SG1. I noted in the final challenge that all the kids have real live weapons, and they've got missiles and mortars and all this stuff. SG1, they're carrying INTARs. They're not killing anybody. They're just knocking them out. Any other show, even SG1, could have had them with real weapons, real firearms, blasting those kids and killing them. No one would bat an eye.
Yeah.
That's just what we do. But they took a very, I have to think, intentional decision to say, no, we're going to have them use the INTARs because it's not the kids' fault.
Well, as I say, you also can't have your heroes of the show going out and killing kids.
You can't?
No. JMS did not write this.
That's going to sound, I'd beg to differ.
He did not write this. No, but even when JMS killed kids, he didn't have the heroes of his show kill the kids.
Dr. Franklin's not one of the heroes?
Dr. Franklin did not kill a kid.
He totally enabled it.
But
wow, I just inflamed a whole community right there. Again.
The parents killed that kid.
Yeah, they made the choice. Franklin let them. Maybe encouraged it. Either way, you're right, they couldn't, but if they did, no one would have batted an eye.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it was cool that they made that choice. The big thing in this episode that hit me, though, was 2 weeks in a row, we have been shown blind belief and adherence to a faith until they see otherwise. So last week we had the canon who's like, we have to do the thing, until he saw that the Unas was just, this monster or whatever. And it wasn't. He's like, oh my gosh, I've seen, and now I believe. We talked about the whole doubting Thomas thing last week. Fast forward to this week, those kids were fanatical about following Apophis, willing to kill, willing to be killed, right, in the worship of their god Apophis, until they saw that he was mortal, and weak, and he died. Once they see that blind adherence, when they see the blind adherence goes away, because now they have seen. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Like, on one hand, I feel like you can honor the faith of these kids. Strong faith is an amazing gift for people to have. It's unfortunate when that faith is used for violence, like here, and for alienation, like that was used here. But faith, that's kind of cool. Also, it's interesting that faith gets shaken, not on words, not even on trusted people saying things. Tilk told them all this. They didn't believe him. They had to see it. And I just think there's a lot to think about in that. Yeah, it was a fun episode. I enjoyed this episode. A really cool idea. I'm curious, though, if you pulled any sci-fi messages out of this one that I may have missed.
The answer is no, because it's not that there were no sci-fi messages in this. It's that you didn't miss them. You literally just said what I have written down.
That's the thing.
Is blind adherence can be your death.
Yeah.
That's literally what I just had written down. These kids were here because this is what they were brought up to believe, right?
Yeah.
Their parents taught them this, the system that they were raised in. This is just how it is. There's no there's just no questioning about it. This is fact. This is how things are being taught to them. This is a god. This is the way it is. You're going to go do this. We're going to do this. This is all about worshiping our god Apophis. Their parents taught them to do this. I don't know that you could say that they were like brainwashed as much as this is just how they're raised. I have said on maybe not SG1 for the first time, but definitely Babylon 5 for the first time, my own story. I was raised here in the South. There are certain ideas, there are certain presumptions that people in my area where I grew up in, we just sort of like, it's just how things are. And it blows your mind to think that there are actually people around the world or around the country that like don't understand that these things are true.
Yeah.
Just
don't accept
things
it,
that
right?
Do what now?
Just don't accept it as what it is.
Yeah. I mean, certain things like, hey, if and here's the thing, some of this is actually I think true. If a person of color would move into my neighborhood, house values went down. Why? Well, because it's not that people cared about living next to people like that. It's just, they tend to have people over all the time and they park their cars in the yards and they don't keep up their houses and they're dirty and Jeff, did you just hear what I said?
I did hear that. Yeah.
I just said that people of color are dirty.
You did.
Now, before somebody clips that and says, listen to Brent, he's a racist, let me clarify. These are thoughts and ideas that I was given as a child that as I have gotten older, I have realized are absurd to believe that.
Yep.
Do you guys, let me be clear. That is absurd. It's how I was raised though.
Yeah. Also, there's an entire culture that is their belief.
Yeah, exactly. That is an example. I think it's very easy to take this and apply this to political beliefs. And I don't want to go down that road, but listen, in this country where we are, there are people that I know that are raised Republican, and this is how you're raised. Your mom and dad were Republican, your grandparents were Republican, everybody's Republican, everybody around you is Republican, so you're a Republican, and this is what it is. Those damn dirty Democrats. I also know people that were raised Democrat. Their parents were Democrats, their grandparents were Democrats, their aunts and uncles were Democrats. They don't understand how Republicans work whatsoever, and those guys are ruining our country and holding everything back. Either side may be true at any given time. I don't want to get into that.
There's a Venn diagram there with a lot of overlap.
Yes. But what I mean is both sides, you can blindly raise people to their political beliefs. Okay. Whigs versus Tories over in England. I know we have a lot of listeners over in England and in the United Kingdom, I should say. I don't know what the two-party systems are around all of the world. Sorry, that's my own ignorance. Yes, that was a very American-centric idea that I just said. Hello, I'm an American. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just change the names for your names, and it's the same thing.
Yeah. But my point being, people are brought up to, okay, so that's political. Okay, let's set that aside. Religious beliefs. You're brought up to believe that this is fact. This is true. No questions asked. This is how we behave. This is what we go do until you question it, until you go see. And I'm not saying to debunk the entire religion, but, to at least know why you believe it and why you don't believe the other side of it, how you're okay with the own holes in your own faith. I think this is also just as easily to apply to persons of authority. I have been and lived in a culture where you never, ever questioned a coach, a teacher, a parent, ever. Whatever they said, that's it. There was zero questioning of authority. I'm not saying be disrespectful. Just this is just the way it is. No matter what they say, this is how we're raised, right? I love what you said a second ago. None of them would believe until they saw him die. It wasn't until they saw that their blind adherence could go away. They could see in order to not be blind anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you said. Was that the intention of this episode, to say, hey, we're going to write this morality show and hold up a mirror and do all of this and discuss it? Did they really even discuss it a whole lot? No, not really.
No.
This was just, hey, there's this group of people out there that have that. This is where they're raised, and SG1's going to go free them because they came across them. That's really, I don't think there was a huge intention. I know intentionality tends to be a deal. So I'm going to bring that back. I do think it is an interesting discussion, a jumping off point, I should say. This episode can give you a jumping off point to go. And I think we should all consider that. What are the things in my life that I believe? What are the tenets that I hold? And is that because I truly believe that that's true from my own experience and the way things have been presented to me? Or is it just because it was downloaded into my brain with how I was growing up? You should know. You should know one way or the other, and at least be able to recognize it and acknowledge it. So, Jeff, for me, I'm going to give this one 2 chevrons. 2 chevrons. I think it's there. It's a good jumping off point. Episode didn't do much to discuss it. That's okay. I don't think it was an intention, but it's there. I think it's very clearly there.
I agree. I think if people weren't watching it the way we watch shows, that would have not even been a blip.
No. And frankly, I had to stretch for that one a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. Like, it's clearly there, but I had to stretch for it. So
exactly. 2 things that come to mind on that. One is, you shared, your story of being from Kentucky, and I think it's a really relatable story for a lot of people. My version of that story is I was born a Catholic, and much of my early political and societal beliefs were rooted in my Catholic upbringing. And I was in high school, I think, when I realized that some of the things I believed didn't make a lot of logical sense at the time, or at all. And so what I tried to do is I asked myself, like, if I have this political belief and it's rooted in my Catholicism and my faith, can I justify that belief without invoking my religion? Right. So, for example, like, I was raised to believe that homosexuality is a sin, right? Like you will burn, if that. And so that was a societal and political belief that I held for part of my life until I said, well, let me just take religion out of that equation. Do I still believe that? And you're like, no, like that's just dumb to think that. Like it's foolish. People are awesome, and it's awesome that they love people. When other people love other people, cool. End of story, right? And so that changed my political beliefs. I questioned enough that I left the Catholic faith at 21. I became a nun, right? Nun with an O, not with a U. And went on and lived that life until I was about 37, when through questioning, I came back into the church because I was questioning. So questions can, and I'm in that faith in a very different way than I was before. So it's always good to ask yourself the questions and do those things. The other thing because you talked about, it's such a great point. And my God, I spend a lot of time thinking about this. Is this belief my belief, or is it a result of my enculturalization?
Yeah.
Is my grandparents speaking through me right now, or whatever?
Can I tell you, I want to bounce off that just for a second. You and I have been doing stuff together now for, are we at years?
Yeah, we're at years now.
Years now, a couple years, maybe 3 years now.
Maybe?
At this, God, I don't know.
Been a while. I don't know.
It's been we've done this quite a few times. We are well over 100 episodes together.
Oh yeah.
Right. By the time we take everything in, we might even be knocking on the door of 150, maybe 2.
I think close to 2.
we might be close to 2. There are often times when I hear you say stuff, Jeff, that even today, where I think and I go, that sounds like a very Northwestern Seattle Oregonian thing. That's not how it is down here. It just, that's you up there in that part of the country. That doesn't apply to me down here. There are oftentimes you say stuff like that. I don't come back at it because it doesn't really matter one way or the other, but to your point, like, like
it makes such a difference. Like what I'm about to share is one of those things, right? So a couple of months ago, I went to a breathing exercise retreat with the intention of shedding some of my culture. Really got to get high on my own air supply. Is what I did there. It's called holotropic breathing. Look it up. It's amazing. It was a transformative experience for me. And the point was really to shed that enculturalization for a moment and see what was real, and then try and build on that. At the time of this recording, in 4 days, 3-4 days, I'm going to go into the woods and I'm going to eat a bunch of mushrooms, and I'm going to do the same thing and going out in nature and trying to shed my enculturalization to further see what my real beliefs are. Like, who am I and what do I truly believe as me, and not what is the Northwest saying through me, my grandparents, my job, my religion, my whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be here next week watching whatever we watch next week, because I'm going to be fine. I might be a little cooler, right? But all this to say, question, man. And you said a thing I thought was great. That doesn't mean be disrespectful. That doesn't mean attack. As a manager, I call it inviting dissent. When I can have dissenting thoughts and opinions on my team, that's the value of diversity, is different thoughts. It's not dissenting in that you're wrong and I'm right. It's dissenting in that it's different.
Yeah.
And let's do that, man. Like, let's ask those questions. Let's look at different perspectives. And the only way you can get different perspectives is inviting dissenting opinions and asking questions. Brent, 2 chevrons, excellent rating. We talked about this more than the episode even thought about it.
Yeah, right.
And that's good on us.
Right. Well, hey, you know what I want to know, Jeff? Here's the thing. A lot of times we kind of put stuff out there and like, sometimes our listeners, though, catch stuff that you and I never even talked about.
Very true.
We're not saving or holding anything back for Stargate SG1 for the second time or anything like that. So, hey, listen, out there, let us know what your rating is. What messages did you catch? Is there anything that Jeff and I missed? Let us know. Drop it down in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter. Shoot us an email. You can go to our website and you could do like some little form, which shoots us an email, all that sort of stuff. So you guys let us know. We would really love to know. Hey, Jeff, got an updated tracking sheet real quick though.
Yes.
So to add to our counts, we got 1 for Crying Out Loud. We got 1 Daniel death, which is going to bring our Jack Crying Out Louds up to 18 so far, which feels low to me. I feel like we should be up in the 30s by now. We've
had a real dry spell though.
Yeah. We had a Daniel death, and that brings us up. Do you have any idea how close we are on Daniel deaths?
That's going to be number 7. I'm
6.
guessing.
This is
6. Okay.
6.
Wow.
Daniel has died 6 times on screen.
That's a lot of dying. Are we tracking Indeeds? Because we got an Indeed as well in this.
Did we have an Indeed? I might have missed it. I was wondering, was there an Indeed?
There was an Indeed.
Because this would be our second Indeed. Like, that's it. You know, they trust me, very soon they start coming pretty fast and furious. Like,
people listening to the audio version of this, there was an ad at some point about our Patreon, And it ends with Tilk saying indeed. And I had to go capture that. There's a YouTube video. I didn't listen to it. I didn't use it for that. But it's every time Tilk says indeed. And it's 6 minutes and 19 seconds long.
I understand that.
So
yeah.
Yep. So that's a lot of indeed.
So there is an official, just so you know, I'm going to see how close we get to this number at the end. I have 3 numbers of the total counts of indeeds over the course of SG1.
Okay.
And it's 154, 167, and 177.
Oh my God.
So it's all right there within like a 20 shot window, you know. But they're pretty, like I said, and we're here in the middle of season 3 and we're at 2 so far. So they, like I said, they do start coming pretty good here, you know.
Indeed.
And there's a reason why that video is 6 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Jeff, so with that, I rated the episode. You get to rank it, my friend. You get to take this episode and place it in our 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of Stargate SG1 Season 3. Let's go with our current top 5 today.
Okay.
The current top 5, I'll go from 5 down to 1. Number 5 is Dead Man's Switch. Number 4 is Legacy. 3 is Into the Fire. 2 is Learning Curve. And 1 is Fair Game. Jeff, I really have no idea where you're going to place this one. I could see this going in multiple directions. And once you lay it on us, where do you place completely accurately this in the ranking so far?
It's not going to be in the top 5. So we can know that. But my question really comes down to, it's either going to be above Demons or above Point of View. So it's either going to be the new number 6 or 7. And the question I'm asking myself right now is, how did this episode end compared to the other ones? We joked in the watch that like, oh, it's just over. Like, look at that. They showed the Apophis video and now the episode's just done. Wow. Okay. Look at that. So does that hold up compared to, so the Unas like hit a guy and just died? Like, what? what was that?
Right.
Possibly the coolest thing that could have happened. And as I say that, it is the story in this one was done. There was no reason for them to show more. There was stuff in Demons that should have happened and didn't. And it hurt it last week. It's hurting it again. Brent, this is going to be Rules of Engagement is our new number 6 episode.
6. All right. Well, Jeff, with that is going to wrap up Rules of Engagement. Put a bow on that one. Next time, Jeff. You want to talk about what we're listening to or what we're watching next time?
Yeah, what are we watching?
We're watching it. I've actually been very excited for you to get to this episode.
Oh, okay.
I cannot tell you why until after you watch it.
I'm nervous.
Jeff, take your earphones off because Jeff, here, you can't look in my word. Don't look in my mouth because Jeff has been talking about this since the pilot episode. This is the one where Daniel and Sharay come together. So yeah, that's it. Just in case you guys didn't know, this was what he thought the end of season 1 was going to be, was this episode here. Yeah. I just trying to remind the folks at home in case they didn't remember what this particular episode was about, why Brent is so excited. But like I said, I can't tell you until after.
Yeah, that's fair.
After next week. I am saying nothing of the quality of the episode. You will have to decide that for yourself. There is a specific reason that has nothing to do with that has everything to do with the content of the episode, not the quality of the episode. So
Okay.
I'll let you make that decision unabated by me. So I'm excited for it. Would you like to venture a guess though? Let's see how close you cannot get to this episode. Forever and a Day is the name of the title of the episode.
Forever and a Day.
Not and a day. Forever in. Forever in a Day.
Is this a sequel to Brief Candle? Maybe that's going to be my guess. Like this is going to build on that. Like, well, they tried to fix that. So maybe this is a go back and look at trying to fix the Brief Candle stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very specific and also super general. So
it is super general.
Safe shot. It's the gist is it's going to be one of those like compressed time frame things, you know, like we're going to see old Jack again maybe. So I'd be good with that. They did a good job with the old makeup.
All right. Well, we'll find out next time right here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. Hey, thank you guys out there so much for joining us. Please Be sure to check us out wherever you get your podcasts or your YouTube videos. Leave us ratings, reviews, subscribe, like, all that sort of stuff. It helps us out a ton. You wouldn't even believe how much it does. Also, please share this video with someone that you know who needs some SG1 in their life, a little more SG1 in their life, to go through it. Somebody who likes this show, somebody who's trying to relive it, or somebody who, like my friend Jeff over there, is watching it for the very first time. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week for Forever and a Day. Until then.
Hey, Brent.
What's up?
Warriors of Bi-Nerds, listen to the one that holds the vacuum. Brent, standing before you, speaks in my name. Heed his words. He is much loved by Okeefe. Brent. Go ahead. Brent, go.
For crying out loud. Okay, I did not see that one coming. I didn't read it. I didn't see it in the note. I did not see it in the note. I saw in the note about the time you said it in my ears of Okeefe. I was like, oh my God.
I love his name. We had Alt-Pophis, and now we've got Okeefe. Like, he can do a lot
so
with that
stupid.
name.
You're so
I
stupid. Oh man.
I am who I am.
You yam who you yam. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, Jeff, to be raised with a certain set of beliefs. Like even now, like what are the things that I believe just because I've been here?
Yeah.
You know, things that have helped me. Probably the two things is one, living outside of this country for about 3 years.
Huge eye opener, probably. Like,
Absolutely.
Massive.
Absolutely. You learn so much stuff about yourself. Like, oh my gosh. But living outside of this country for about 3 years. But two, the other thing, and this is probably better than anything else, people, introducing myself to people.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to think real quick of my friend Robin Scott, who is a comedian based out of Greenville, South Carolina, when I was doing stand-up comedy. Robin is the first trans person that I ever knew, you know, or the first person who transitioned who was open and out about it. Like,
yeah, you knew.
It's very possible I could have met a trans person before and I literally just had no clue.
Yeah.
Or they were still in and hadn't there's a phrase that they use that I don't know because I'm not in that community and I don't want to anyway. But it certainly wasn't until like Robin and I became really good friends. Robin, if you're ever watching and listening, please, you know, shoot me an email or say hi or whatever, because you're an amazing person. I only ever knew Robin post transition.
Okay.
So I never went through that. So to me, Robin has just always been Robin. Like I never knew. I could not tell you what her dead name is. I don't know. But she also was a person who was always super open and encouraged questions.
Okay. Yeah.
And, you know, and I got to ask all the stupid questions that people aren't really allowed to ask, which I think is dumb. Like, it's like, I literally, like, I'm just curious. How does this work? What goes on here? What do you say here? How does this work? What, you know, and outside of those questions, Robin was just a friend, you know?
Yeah.
We hung out, we took meals together, we traveled some together, we did shows. I supported her, she supported me through various comedy pieces. You know, I'd listen to her stuff and I'd give her notes at the end of her sets of like, hey, try this. Crowd didn't really hit with this, crowd loved this, so make sure you hit that next time. And you know, and she would do the same thing for me. Like it was just a really cool friend. But it was the first time that I ever just sit back and went, she's not weird.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem mentally disturbed.
She's a person.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, like all these presuppositions that I had about trans people, because frankly, I never knew any. And so I'm just built like, oh, you gotta be whatever, you know, messed up or anything like that. And like, no, actually, no, she seemed perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, So, again, it just meeting people
That's the thing.
and learning to shut up and listen. I don't have to explain it away.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? I have to explain it away. Just listen. I'll never remember this, or I'll never forget this. I grew up in the 90s. I think like most, white kids in the 90s growing up, we've solved racism.
Yeah.
We've solved it. We're good. We're past it. That was stuff my parents had to deal with back in civil rights.
Yeah, we were totally
You know what
mission
I mean?
accomplished. Yeah, by the mid 90s, we were mission accomplished.
Yeah, by the mid 90s, we were cool. Like it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. And then, as things are like, why are we going back? And I remember this like in the mid 20 teens and into the late 20 teens and of just going, I thought we were past this. What's going on? Why are we like, what's getting brought up? And I'm like, hey, you guys are just trying to stir stuff up that we've honestly gotten way past. And then I learned to shut up.
Yeah. Turns out we weren't so far past it.
And I would look at my friend who was black and I'd be like, oh, wait, do you deal with this? Yeah. I'm like, what? I was so blind, so ignorant, Jeff, because I just thought, like we had those episodes of Golden Girls and we had those episodes of Family Matters and we had those episodes where like, we're past this, man. We grew up with Real World where we're getting past all this sort of stuff. Like,
yeah,
we're
it's
done
all
with
good
it.
now. It's done.
Remember the Titans and all that crap? That was how we used to be. We watch those movies so we can know how we used to be, so we don't repeat that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, this is new, right? This is new. Like, no, this is actually how, like this is how I have to act when I'm around white people. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, hey, turns out I go back and I listen to the music that I listened to back in the 80s or back in the 90s. It was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, they've been trying to tell me this ever since then. And I was just deaf to it.
I think, well, you said it. Being a white dude in the 90s, just trigger warning, right? When you live with privilege, there you go. Get over that. I said the P word. When you live with privilege, you need to shut up and listen and be curious. I think that's the big thing, is be curious about things and don't listen to solve, listen to listen and learn and understand. Cause frankly,
don't explain it away.
No.
Oh, well, that's not really how that is.
Whoa.
Stop. Just listen.
Yep.
Listen to their experience.
And then you follow what I call the Peter Parker principle of privilege, which is with great privilege comes great responsibility. You listen, you learn, you hear things, and then you utilize your privilege where you can to open doors, not to fix things, because it's not it's ours to shut up and get out of the way. Yeah. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. And it's not that anyone's better. It's not that anything. It's that people are treated differently. And we need to make room for that to change. Yeah. That's all it is. And,
a lot of it, I think, starts with recognizing that we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. It's one thing to listen to that one person and hear their story. It's easy to dismiss that.
Yeah.
Listen to another person and then listen to another person and listen to another person and keep listening and keep listening. And pretty soon you'll see there's an entire amalgam.
Yeah.
It's not just one person who's going crazy with it. It actually, and I'm not going to say that's the entire thing. It's an entire people group. I'm not going to say that because there are some who say no, that it's not like that. But when you hear the various stories, just the litany and the cacophony of them, and the sheer number, that goes along with it, that turns into the cacophony. Like it's
well, I think to ignore it is making a conscious choice to be ignorant, because there it is. Look outside, there it is. Yeah. So to wrap us around, go meet people, man. Go meet people that aren't you. Travel, ask questions, get to know people. And my gosh, there's just people.
And if there's one thing I could beg people, okay, and this is, I want to acknowledge this is probably me speaking with my privilege.
It's fair.
Okay.
I say it's fair, like that matters. Please go ahead.
To to people of a minority group, whatever that is. When you have someone who looks like me coming and asking questions, I want to acknowledge this. It is not your job to educate or inform or tell them. However, if they're opening up and listening, it's really nice to go ahead and tell them. Like, it's nice. It's not your job. It is not your job. But if somebody is standing before you asking a legit question, like, I would encourage you to engage with that, because that's a person who they're questioning.
Yeah.
They may not turn to Google. They may not go. Like, you could be that one source that helps crack that blind adherence we were talking about. They want to hear your story.
Yeah.
They want to hear your story. And I can tell you, it is because of hearing people's stories, people that I knew. That's what happened for me, where I was able just to go, oh, okay, well, let me shut up and listen.
It makes all the difference.
And I've got a long way to go.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've shared before, there are still times when things happen, when I meet people, my first instant response is that response that I was raised with, because it's still there, you know? And I have to capture that and be like, wait. Is that real? Is that good? Sometimes it's good. Sometimes they're a good thing. I wasn't raised as a completely devoid person of morality. You know what I mean? But there are times where I have to be like, yeah, no, that's dumb. Let's throw that over there and completely reject that and put that on the pile over there.
Being aware of your biases, right? And interrupting that piece and everything. But again, you can't do that without getting to know people. That's and unless wherever you're living, there's people that aren't you around. So, you know, go say hi.
You know, the other one that I remember, it was I was so stupid. I was talking to my black friend. I was like, well, what does it mean when black people do this? And her answer was, dude, we are not a monolith. I cannot speak for every black person in the entire world. All I can do is speak for me, which is why it's important to ask multiple people their stories and ask them where they are. If they're willing to share, let them share it with you.
Yeah. Or, you know what? You can even take it to a more macro level. One of the things I love and have really embraced doing is find those cultural events in your area. Are you in an area with tribal nations? Are they holding a powwow? Go to that. Is there a Diwali?
Are you allowed?
Yeah.
See, that like, Jeff, that's truly like a thing that I have this question of like, am I even allowed? Is it okay if, like, okay, I'm not a Jew. Can I practice and celebrate Hanukkah?
Yeah. You know,
I literally don't know. And I don't know what I would do to do that.
I think that if there's a Facebook event or they're on your next door or your whatever event page and it's on there, you can go. Like and you know, worst thing they're going to do is tell you no. And in that thing, you're like, oh, I'm really sorry. Hey, why can't I participate? What if I wanted to? What do I got to do?
I will tell you what, on my street, you've been to my house, the street, the main street that's right out here of my neighborhood, there are, and I don't know if they're all one organization or if they're multiple organizations, but there's 3 different buildings that are all Hindu churches.
Okay.
I don't know what they call themselves. Temples? Whatever they are. There is several times a year they're having these big, huge celebrations, outdoor celebrations and stuff. And sometimes they come in and they got weird colors and stuff on. Not weird. They're really pretty, but it's like they've been like poofed with like paint balls or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I've often been like, maybe I should just like walk over there and just go poke around and say, I probably should sometime. I really should.
You should,
you know, because it looks neat. I literally have no idea what's going on over there, though.
Yeah,
go. You know?
Go. Like, Diwali is always a great, you know, Indian culture you can go and participate in. A lot of places like here in Portland, we have the Arab American Association, and they hold events for Eid and other things that other holidays. You go and you eat good food and you meet people and you hear stories and you do stuff, and that way you get to see that bigger, you get to see the culture and participate in it to a point. Because I think you and I have, you more so, but you lived in another country, but we've both traveled internationally, and that's, gosh, do it, because it's so eye-opening to do that. But not everybody has the opportunity to do that.
And I just want to clarify, just to be, it was a non-English speaking country. It was a non-white person English speaking country. I lived there for 3 years. So
you were opposite of every single person that lived there in every possible way, basically.
Yeah. except for where it counts, because we're all really the same. We're all one race.
Yeah,
The
we're all
human race,
we're all the
right?
human race, right? Exactly. But you were different language, different color, different size, different everything was very like. Didn't you were talking about like they don't even have that size. They don't even
No.
it doesn't even exist.
No. I mean, I was in an age. I was in Korea. Okay, I was in Korea. That's where I lived. I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "I have never seen someone as big as you before in my life." Now I'm a big dude in multiple ways, but he was just like, I've never seen this number on a scale before. I've never seen this number on the height chart before. I was like, okay,
You're welcome.
Sure,
Yeah.
great, sure, but there were, yeah, like I literally had to duck going through doorways. Getting
Wow,
on and off
wow.
the subway, I had to duck or else I would hit my head getting on and off the subway every single time.
Yeah.
I was visiting a traditional village one time. They invited me in. Do you know what their walls are made of in a traditional village?
What's that?
Paper.
Okay.
It's a very thick paper, but it's still paper. Put my foot through the wall. I felt so bad.
Right.
So bad.
Do you have
They
any
were like,
tape?
I imagine it's probably not that hard. That's probably a reason why they do it. I don't know. I truly don't know why. But they were like, "Don't worry about it. We'll be okay. We'll fix it." I'm like, sorry. But literally, the house was like I had to crawl. The reason my foot went through is because I was crawling. So
It's like it's
stand.
so small. It's like, oh man, you're in the Shire almost. You're just like, let me just slide in
Right?
here.
Right? I'd love to visit the Shire. That'd be so cool.
You can. That's a real place.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, anyway, this has gone off the rails.
And this is good stuff, though. We haven't had a good Club
Yeah.
65 in a long time.
It's
so
yeah, we've owned them. We've owed them. Owed
we
y'all.
have. You know, I was gonna say, like,
Say, Jeff, all y'all.
all y'all, all y'all, all y'all, all
It's
y'all.
2 syllables. It's just 2 syllables.
Can't do
All
it.
y'all.
Can't do it. I
You,
was gonna show, like,
enunciate every letter, and it's all y'all.
all y'all, like oil.
He was all y'all.
All y'all, all y'all, all y'all, all y'all. Yay.
Oh.
No, but everything we talked about also works on the inverse when you're visiting other countries. I been to Lebanon and back when you could do that, and I speak a little bit of Arabic, and I was so excited to go and like speak Arabic. But you know what they wanted to do? Oh, there's a dude who speaks English. I'm gonna do my English. I barely got to speak. I literally got to be like, oh, in the America and about a Farabi, huh? And about a Farabi, and they'd be like, oh, you speak English? Let's do that. I'm like, no, I wanted to learn, but they're curious as well. So it's always
So
it's
you know
fun.
what I learned when I was in Korea, because I'd have people come up to me all the time. They just want to talk to me and practice their English. Like when I'm sitting on the subway, I'm like, dude, I really just want to sit here and not talk to anyone. I want to read my book or whatever, because we didn't have phones back then. Not smartphones, but I would learn it. They could speak English to me. That was fine. I would try to speak Korean to them. So, and it was, I swear there's an episode of Star Trek Enterprise where Hoshi is speaking with Dr. Phlox.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're sitting over dinner and they're like, she's speaking Denobulan and he's speaking back in English to her.
Yeah, it was an
You
early
know.
one, like a season 1
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was an interesting one for me. So
Brent, it's what, 2:00 in the morning for you?
2:05, my friend. 2:05.
We should probably wrap this bad boy up.
Let's do it. Club 65. You guys are amazing. Welcome to Club 65. Club 65 is our after show. It's our after party. If you made it all the way through, because what we found out is our numbers, like as we start the wrap up, we haven't finished the show, people dip out. So if you're cool enough to stick around all the way through, you get the after show, man. You get the after
You earned
show.
this.
So
This is a special
Club
place.
65. And here's how you let us know. All right. Our first rule of Club 65 is we don't tell people what this is.
Nope. You earned
People
this.
have to find it on their own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have to find it on their own. Don't give it away.
You sat through all of this. Don't give it away for free.
And here's how this goes. Hey, Jeff, what? All right, what is this Club 65 thing? What's this 65 thing that those guys got over there at Buy Nerds? What's going on? What is that?
Oh, if you know, you know.
All right, is it fill in the blank of anything?
Whatever, man.
If you have to ask, then you don't know. So sorry, I can't tell you.
Yeah,
that's the rule. That's how we work. All right. They have to discover it for themselves. But 2, drop a 65 down in the comments. You know, my favorite one, like some people just drop 65 down in the comments. I love those. Those are amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. I love when people find ways to work 65 into a comment.
Yes. Yes.
You know, oh, I've seen this episode 65 times. I'm like, yes, I love that. I love
We
that.
see it sometimes even like on our Twitter or other places, people will slip it in.
Yeah.
On our Patreon. Like it always blows me away, like on our reactions on or Babylon 5 reactions that are on our Patreon. There people will be like 65 and I'm like, there's no after show. Like, what are you talking about? Like, cool. I'm glad you stuck to the end. That's awesome.
Right. Because those reactions are just us.
Yeah.
Like we don't,
we literally
only get
finish
when
watching.
we're together.
We're like, hey, that was the episode. It was great. See you in the next time. Click.
Yeah. See you on Monday.
Yeah. That's it.
Right. So anyway, all right, let's get out of here because it is now 2:08.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.